The stars looked different from this distance. Commander Jack Harlow had seen them countless times through telescopes and simulations, but nothing compared to viewing them directly from the bridge of humanity's first deep space patrol vessel. ESV Defender maintaining course, sir, Lieutenant Susan Wright reported from her station. Her fingers danced across the control panel with practiced precision. All systems nominal. Jack nodded. Good work, Lieutenant. Let's push her a bit further. Increase to 70% thrust. The year was 2037, and humanity had finally cracked the puzzle of efficient interstellar travel. The Defender wasn't large, barely the size of an old nuclear submarine, but she represented the pinnacle of human engineering. This was her maiden voyage beyond the Kuiper Belt, and so far, she performed beautifully. Sir, Susan's voice cut through his thoughts. I'm detecting an anomaly at bearing 047. Jack straightened in his chair. Define anomaly, Lieutenant. Energy signature unlike anything in our database. It's moving, and it's changing course toward us. The bridge fell silent. The six-person crew all knew what this might mean. First contact. They had trained for this, but simulations couldn't prepare them for the real thing. Broadcast first contact package on all frequencies, Jack ordered, and bring us to yellow alert, just in case. Minutes passed like hours as they waited for a response. The object grew closer, finally becoming visible on their forward screens. The alien vessel was sleek, with a purplish metallic sheen and odd protrusions that might have been weapons or sensors. Still no response to our broadcasts, Susan reported, tension evident in her voice. The alien ship suddenly accelerated, moving into an attack position. They're powering up something, cried Ensign Paul Garcia from Tactical. Energy readings spiking. Jack didn't hesitate. Red alert. Defensive posture. Charge point defense systems. The alien vessel fired first, a purple beam that struck the Defender's port side. The ship shuddered, but her shields held. Shield efficiency at 80%, Susan called out. Whatever they hit us with, it was meant to disable, not destroy. Jack's eyes narrowed. They're trying to cripple us. Target their propulsion systems and return fire. The Defender's railguns spun up, launching hypervelocity projectiles at the alien ship. To everyone's surprise, 3 shots connected, tearing through the alien vessel's hull. Direct hits, Paul shouted. Their shields weren't even up. On the screen, the alien ship listed to one side, venting atmosphere. Their attack had stopped. They're retreating, Susan said, disbelief in her voice. I think we scared them. The alien vessel limped away, accelerating until it vanished into the darkness of space. Damage report, Jack ordered, still processing what had just happened. Minimal damage to port sections. No casualties, Susan replied. Sir, they seemed surprised by our response, almost like they expected us to be defenseless. Jack frowned. Or they didn't expect us to fight back at all. In the silence that followed, the crew realized the significance of what had occurred. Humanity's first encounter with alien life had been hostile, and they had emerged victorious. But victory felt hollow. They hadn't wanted a fight. They had wanted communication, understanding, new knowledge. Set course for Earth, Jack finally said. Maximum speed. The UN Security Council needs to know what happened here. As the Defender turned homeward, none of the crew knew they were being watched. On the damaged alien ship, Captain Vrax of the Dravak Empire fumed with rage and embarrassment. These primitives, he snarled to his second-in-command. They damaged an Imperial vessel. This insult cannot stand. His second looked nervous. They fought with unexpected skill. Sir, they are barbarians who got lucky, Vrax snapped. Prepare a report for High Command. We have discovered a dangerous, unregistered species in a resource-rich system. The Empire will be most interested. As both ships raced toward their respective homeworlds, The wheels of a conflict that would stun the Galactic Council were already in motion. Ambassador Krell adjusted his ceremonial collar as he entered the grand chamber of the Galactic Council's Minor Affairs Subcommittee. His scales gleamed under the artificial light, polished to perfection for this important occasion. The chamber was mostly empty, exactly as he had planned. Most council representatives considered subcommittee meetings boring and routine. "The Dravak Empire requests the floor," Krell announced, his translator converting his hissing speech into the standard galactic language. The chairperson, a towering insectoid from the Mur Collective, waved a limb lazily. "Proceed, Ambassador Krell. The subcommittee recognizes the Dravak Empire." Krell moved to the center of the speaking platform. "Esteemed colleagues, I bring urgent news. Our scouts have discovered a previously unknown spacefaring species in Sector 8721. They call themselves humans and occupy a single star system with abundant resources." He paused for effect before continuing. "These humans attacked an Imperial scout vessel without provocation. They are clearly dangerous, unpredictable, and require immediate containment before they threaten peaceful species." The representatives stirred. New species were discovered occasionally, but rarely ones already capable of space travel. "What evidence do you present of this threat?" asked a representative from the Aetheri, a species known for their cautious diplomacy. Krell displayed footage from the Dravak ship's encounter with the Defender, heavily edited to show the humans firing first. "As you can see, these primitives attacked our peaceful research vessel. We request authorization for a minor containment operation to establish a proper quarantine around their system." Back on Earth, Dr. Olivia Carter hunched over her computer, dark circles under her eyes. For 3 days straight, she had been analyzing the strange transmissions captured after the Defender's encounter. "I've got it," she whispered, rubbing her tired eyes. The alien language had patterns, mathematical constants that served as a foundation. After feeding terabytes of data through the university's quantum computers, she had managed to crack their basic communication code. What she found chilled her to the bone. "Admiral Johnson, thank you for seeing me on such short notice," Olivia said, clutching her tablet as she entered the office at United Earth Defense Headquarters. Admiral Peter Johnson, a stern man with salt and pepper hair, nodded briskly. "When the foremost expert in theoretical xenolinguistics says it's an emergency, I listen. What have you found, Doctor?" "They're coming back, sir. And not for peaceful talks." She placed her tablet on his desk, displaying her translations. "They call themselves the Dravak. They've labeled us as dangerous primitives and are planning what they call a containment operation." Johnson's face hardened. "How much time do we have?" "Based on the transmission frequencies, no more than 2 weeks. They're mobilizing a fleet." The Admiral stood and walked to the window, looking out at the Washington skyline. 12 ships. That's all we have that's combat ready. How many are they sending?" Olivia swallowed hard. 50, at least." Johnson turned back, his expression grim yet determined. "Then we'll make each of our ships count for 5 of theirs." Across the ocean in Brussels, the United Earth Defense Council convened an emergency session. Representatives from every nation listened as Admiral Johnson laid out the situation. "We face an alien species that has decided Earth needs to be contained," he explained. "We don't know exactly what that means, but I doubt they're coming to make friends." The Chinese representative spoke up. "The Defender was one ship that managed to damage their vessel. Surely our full fleet can repel them." Johnson shook his head. "They were surprised last time. They won't be surprised again." "What do you propose, Admiral?" asked the Secretary General. "We've already begun dispersing our ships. We'll use hit-and-run tactics, never engaging their full force directly. Earth's satellite defense network is being upgraded as we speak." As the Council debated strategy in deep space, the Dravak fleet commander surveyed his armada of 50 warships. "Set course for Earth," he ordered. Show these primitives what happens when you challenge the Dravik Empire. The first signs of the Dravik invasion appeared on Earth's long-range sensors as 50 pinpoints of light. They moved in perfect formation, confident in their overwhelming numbers. They're not even trying to hide their approach, Captain Laura Phillips said from the bridge of the ESV Intrepid. Her ship lurked behind the dark side of Luna, engines cold, waiting. Admiral Johnson's voice crackled over the secure channel. All vessels, maintain position. Let them come to us. Remember your training and trust your instincts. Earth's 12 warships were spread throughout the solar system. Some hid behind moons, others within asteroid fields. A desperate plan, but their only hope against such superior numbers. Laura checked her watch. 6 minutes until the Dravik entered weapons range. Weapons status, she asked her first officer. Mining charges converted to proximity mines are ready, he responded. Modified railguns charged, nuclear torpedoes armed. Laura nodded. Using mining equipment repurposed as weapons had been her idea. The Dravik wouldn't expect explosives designed to crack asteroids. On the main Dravik flagship, Commander Vrex surveyed the approaching blue planet with satisfaction. Primitive defenses detected, his sensor officer reported. Rudimentary weapon platforms in orbit. 12 small warships scattered through the system. Vrex laughed. They think hiding will save them. Deploy in standard subjugation pattern. Target their orbital infrastructure first. The Dravik fleet spread out, their silver ships gleaming in the sunlight as they approach Earth's orbit. They never noticed the small objects drifting toward them, disguised as space debris. Laura watched her tactical display as the first mining charges detonated. 3 Dravik ships disappeared in blossoms of light. Now, she ordered. The Intrepid's engines flared to life. She shot from behind Luna like a bullet, racing toward the enemy's exposed flank. All across the solar system, Earth's ships emerged from hiding, striking from unexpected angles. They fired their weapons and retreated before the Dravik could respond, disappearing back into hiding spots only to emerge elsewhere minutes later. On Earth, civilians watched the battle through telescopes and live feeds. The sky lit up with flashes of weapons fire visible even in daylight. The Houston defense grid is online, a technician reported to Admiral Johnson in the underground command center. Tokyo and Moscow grids standing by. Johnson nodded grimly. If they break through our ships, they'll face a planet that won't surrender. In space, Laura's ship raced through the debris of a destroyed Dravik vessel. Alarms blared as 2 enemy ships locked weapons on her. Evasive pattern Delta, she shouted. The Intrepid rolled sharply, narrowly avoiding enemy fire. Her weapons officer grinned. Target locked. Firing solutions ready. Fire everything, Laura commanded. The Intrepid unleashed its full arsenal at the nearest Dravik ship. Railgun slugs punched through their hull, followed by nuclear torpedoes that detonated inside the enemy vessel. It broke apart spectacularly. The second Dravik ship attempted to retreat but collided with a cloud of proximity mines. Its engines failed, leaving it drifting helplessly. Captain, the communications officer called out. Admiral Johnson wants that ship captured intact if possible. Laura smiled. Tell the boarding teams to suit up. We're going to get ourselves an alien ship. Across the battlefield, the Dravik commander watched in disbelief as his fleet's formation crumbled. These humans weren't fighting like a civilized species. They used no recognizable tactics, no standard formations. They struck like predators, vicious and unpredictable. Pull back to defensive positions, he ordered. Regroup for a coordinated attack. But the damage was done. Of the 50 Dravik ships that had entered the system, 12 were destroyed and 5 disabled. The humans had taught them a painful lesson. Earth would not be taken easily. News of the failed Dravik invasion spread quickly through the Galactic Council. Species that had never heard of humans suddenly couldn't stop talking about them. Senior Council Representative Zartal, an ancient being with pale blue skin and 6 eyes, pounded his ceremonial staff on the chamber floor. The grand hall of the council fell silent. "This emergency session will come to order," Zartal announced. "The Dravik Empire will explain their unauthorized military action in an unregistered system." Ambassador Krell stepped forward, his scaled face showing no shame. "Honored Council, the humans are not victims. They are dangerous barbarians who attacked our research vessels without provocation." Murmurs filled the chamber as Krell displayed carefully edited footage of Earth ships destroying Dravik vessels. "As you can see, these primitives fight with savage ferocity. They must be contained before they threaten peaceful council species." Zartal's 6 eyes narrowed. "Yet you failed to contain them. Interesting." He turned to face the other council members. "The subcommittee authorized a minor containment operation, not a full invasion fleet. Explain this discrepancy, Ambassador." Before Krell could answer, the chamber doors swung open. 2 humans entered, escorted by council security. The first was a tall man with short brown hair and a uniform indicating military rank. The second was a woman with dark skin and wearing formal diplomatic attire. "What is the meaning of this?" Krell demanded. "These barbarians have no place in our council." Zartal raised a hand for silence. "We will hear all perspectives." The humans were granted temporary speaking rights after their request reached us through neutral channels. The woman stepped forward. "I am Grace Liu, appointed diplomat of the United Earth Government. This is Security Officer Eric Tanner. We thank the Council for allowing us to speak." Grace's voice was steadied despite her nervousness. This was humanity's first official contact with the galactic community, and it came after an unprovoked attack. "Members of the Council, 3 weeks ago, an alien vessel attacked one of our patrol ships without warning. When our ship defended itself, the aliens retreated. Soon after, a fleet of 50 warships entered our system with hostile intent." She displayed unedited footage from the ESV Defender's encounter with the Dravik scout ship. "As you can see, we attempted communication before the Dravik fired upon us. Earth defended itself against aggression, as is our right." The chamber erupted in debate. Some council species sided with the Dravik, concerned about a new spacefaring race with military capabilities. Others argued for the humans' right to self-defense. Krell hissed angrily. "These humans are deceptive. They edited this footage." Eric Tanner stepped forward. "We brought the ship's complete data logs, authenticated and unaltered. We also have a prisoner from a captured Dravik vessel who confirms our account." This revelation sent the Council into an uproar. Taking prisoners was uncommon in galactic warfare. Zartal raised his staff again. "This matter requires further investigation. Both parties will present complete evidence to a special committee." As the session continued, Grace noticed several species watching them with interest rather than hostility. One delegation in particular, beings with feathered crests and golden skin, seemed especially attentive. Later, in their assigned quarters, Grace and Eric discussed the day's events. "They're divided on what to do with us," Grace said. "Some see us as victims, others as a threat." Eric nodded. "Did you notice the group with the feathered heads? They kept watching us." Before Grace could respond, their communication device chimed. A message appeared. "Humans, we are the Etheri. We have been observing Earth for decades. We wish to speak privately. The Dravik are preparing a second attack, and you will need allies." Grace and Eric exchanged worried glances. Earth had barely survived the first attack. A second one could be devastating. But now, it seemed they might have found friends among the stars. The Etheri representative stood taller than an average human, with golden feathers that shimmered in the dim light of the meeting chamber. His name was Kirillon, and he spoke in a melodic voice that seemed almost musical. "We have watched your species for over 60 years, he told Grace and Eric, "since your first radio broadcasts reached our listening posts." Grace tried to hide her surprise. "All this time, and you never contacted us." Kirillon's feathers rippled in what might have been the Etheri equivalent of a smile. "It is our way to observe before engaging. Your species develops quickly, but we wanted you to reach the stars on your own terms. Eric leaned forward. You mentioned the Dravak are planning another attack. Yes. They see your resistance as an insult that must be avenged. The Dravak are minor players in galactic politics, but they are desperate to improve their standing. Grace frowned. We barely survived their first attack. We need to warn Earth. We will help you send a message, Kurlan promised. But you should know that several smaller council species are interested in humanity. They see potential allies against the larger powers. Allies? Eric asked. Who? The Novan Collective, the Durante Republic, and others. They will approach you soon. Back on Earth, military engineer Nathan Cole wiped sweat from his forehead as he examined the captured Dravak ship. The alien vessel was a treasure trove of advanced technology. The power core uses principles we've only theorized about, he explained to Admiral Johnson, who stood beside him in the secure facility built around the alien craft. Their weapons are more advanced, but not as different from ours as we feared. Johnson nodded. How soon can we adapt some of this for our ships? With unlimited resources. 2 weeks for the basic systems. The material science alone is. You have 1 week, Johnson interrupted. Intelligence suggests they're coming back with a bigger fleet. Nathan didn't argue. He had seen the destruction from orbit. Earth wouldn't survive another attack without significant technological improvements. In a different part of the facility, Dr. Olivia Carter continued decoding Dravak communications. She discovered something interesting in their transmissions. Admiral, she called when Johnson entered her lab. The Dravak aren't acting with full council approval. Some species are questioning their actions. Johnson raised an eyebrow. Are there rules against attacking Earth? Not specifically, but there are protocols for first contact. The Dravak violated several of them. This was valuable information. If the Dravak had enemies in the council, Earth might find allies. Meanwhile, in the council chambers, Grace and Eric met with representatives from smaller galactic powers. They gathered in a quiet corner away from the main proceedings. The Dravak have bullied our systems for centuries, said a representative from the Novan Collective, a group of 15 worlds with limited military capabilities. If humans can stand against them, we want that knowledge. A delegate from the Durante Republic nodded in agreement. We offer trade and technology in exchange for military cooperation. Grace was careful with her words. Earth would welcome peaceful relations with any species, but we must focus on our immediate defense. Which is precisely why you need allies, the Novan representative insisted. Together, we can challenge the current power structure. As they spoke, Krell entered the chamber with several Dravak officials. Their expressions darkened when they saw humans speaking with potential allies. The barbarians are already plotting, Krell hissed to his companions. Accelerate the fleet preparations. From across the room, Zartal observed the interactions with his 6 eyes. After serving thousands of years on the council, he recognized when the balance of power was shifting. These humans were catalysts for change, whether they realized it or not. The council will send observers to Earth, he announced later that day. We must evaluate this situation directly before making judgment. The vote passed despite Dravak objections. 7 council species would send representatives to Earth to observe humanity in their natural environment. What they would witness would change the future of galactic politics forever. The 7 observers from the Galactic Council arrived on Earth in a ship that glowed with soft blue light. It landed in a special area prepared at the United Nations headquarters in New York. Security was tight, but crowds still gathered behind barriers, eager for a glimpse of the aliens. Tanfe, a tall being with silvery skin who led the delegation, stepped onto Earth soil and took a deep breath. Your atmosphere is rich in oxygen, he noted to the greeting party. It feels invigorating. President Alan Foster stepped forward. On behalf of all nations of Earth, welcome to our world. The observers spent the next 3 days touring major cities, meeting with leaders, and studying human culture. They seemed particularly fascinated by Earth's diversity. So many different languages and customs, yet you function as one species, said Mira, an observer whose body seemed to shift between solid and liquid states. Most council races have far less variation. Dr. Frank Martinez, a cultural anthropologist assigned to guide the visitors, smiled. Our differences have caused conflicts, but they're also our strength. Different perspectives lead to creative solutions. The observers watched children playing in a park, sampled foods from various countries, and attended concerts showcasing music from around the world. They recorded everything, occasionally sending data back to the council. They seem impressed, Dr. Karen Douglas whispered to Frank as they watched the aliens examining artwork in a museum. That's good, right? Before Frank could answer, alarms blared throughout the city. His phone buzzed with an emergency alert. We need to get to shelter immediately, he told the observers. The Dravak have returned. In orbit, Admiral Johnson received the warning from their deep space monitors. Dravak fleet detected. Numbers. My God. Over 100 ships. The Dravak had ignored the Council's order to stand down while the observers were on Earth. They had launched their second attack, larger and more aggressive than before. Earth's improved defenses activated immediately. The shields Nathan Cole had developed using Dravak technology flickered to life around major cities. Earth's fleet, now enhanced with alien tech, moved to defensive positions. On the ground, the observers were rushed to a secure bunker beneath the UN building. They watched tactical displays showing the approaching Dravak armada. This is a direct violation of Council orders, Xanthi said, his silver skin darkening with emotion. The Dravak were instructed to stand down while we conducted our observations. Frank looked grim. They don't seem to care about your rules. Above them, the first wave of Dravak ships broke through Earth's outer defenses. Several got past the fleet and entered the atmosphere, heading directly for New York. They're targeting us, Karen realized. They want to eliminate the observers. The building shook as explosions erupted across the city. Emergency lights flashed as the power failed momentarily before backup systems engage. We need to move deeper, a security officer urged them. This shelter may not hold. As they hurried through underground corridors, a section of ceiling collapsed. Frank pushed two of the observers out of the way but was trapped beneath debris. Karen and the aliens tried to help him, but more of the structure was failing. Go, Frank shouted through the pain. Get to the secure area. Outside, Major Ryan Powell led a squadron of fighter jets against the Dravak ships attacking the city. They weaved between buildings, using Earth's terrain to their advantage. Target the lead ship's engines, he ordered his team. Remember your training. Their jets, upgraded with technology from the captured Dravak vessel, performed better than ever before. They scored several hits, but the Dravak numbers were overwhelming. In the command center, Admiral Johnson received a desperate message from the UN security team. The observers are in danger. The Dravak are specifically targeting their location. Johnson's face hardened. Divert all available units to protect the UN complex. If those observers die on our watch, Earth loses any chance of Council support. As the battle raged above, the observers experienced firsthand what it meant to be human during a crisis. They saw courage, sacrifice, and determination in the face of overwhelming odds, qualities that would soon change their perspective on humanity forever. Major Ryan Powell forced open the jammed door of the underground bunker. Smoke poured out, and he could hear coughing from inside. This is Earth Defense Forces. Is anyone alive in there? He called out. We're here, Dr. Karen Douglas replied, her voice strained. The aliens are with me, but Dr. Martinez is trapped under debris. Ryan and his team rushed in, wearing protective gear. They found Karen and 5 of the 7 observers huddled in a corner. 2 of the aliens were missing. Where are the others? Ryan asked as his soldiers began freeing Frank from the fallen concrete. Xanthi and Mira went to help injured humans in the next section, Karen explained. They insisted on helping despite the danger. Ryan was surprised. The Council observers were risking their lives to save humans. This wasn't the cold, calculating response he had expected from advanced alien species. Outside, the battle raged across New York's skyline. Earth forces fought bravely, but the Dravak numbers were overwhelming. Buildings burned, and civilian casualties mounted. As Ryan's team escorted the observers toward a waiting transport, they passed through a field hospital set up in a subway station. Xanthi and Mira were there, using their advanced medical knowledge to help human doctors treat the wounded. "Your people fight with remarkable courage," Xanthi told Ryan. "We have witnessed species with far more advanced technology show less resolve." "We protect our own," Ryan said simply. "It's what humans do." Mira, her liquid-like form shifting with emotion, added, "The Dravak deliberately targeted civilian areas. This violates all Council war protocols. We have recorded everything." Ryan saw an opportunity. "Can you transmit your recordings to the Council? Show them what's really happening here." "Our communication systems were damaged in the attack," Xanthi explained. "We would need to access a Dravak command ship to broadcast on Council emergency frequencies." Ryan exchanged looks with Karen and Frank, who had been freed and was now on a stretcher. An idea was forming, dangerous, but potentially game-changing. Meanwhile, in orbit, Nathan Cole had joined the space battle aboard Earth's newest vessel, the ESV Defiant. Built using reverse-engineered Dravak technology, it was humanity's most advanced ship. "Their command ship is there." Nathan pointed to a display showing a massive vessel at the center of the Dravak formation. "If we could capture it, we could end this war." Captain Laura Phillips, now commanding the Defiant, nodded. "We'd need a small team to infiltrate while we provide a distraction." On the ground, Ryan contacted Admiral Johnson with his plan. "Sir, we have Council observers willing to testify about Dravak war crimes, but they need access to Dravak communication systems." Johnson connected Ryan with the Defiant. "Phillips, Cole, I'm sending you Major Powell and a mixed team of humans and Council observers. They need to board the Dravak command ship." Laura's voice crackled over the comm. "That's suicide." "It's our only chance," Ryan insisted. "The observers have diplomatic codes that can force the Council to act, if they can broadcast what's happening here." Hours later, a small shuttle carrying Ryan, Xanthi, Mira, Nathan, and a team of soldiers approached the Dravak command ship. The Defiant and Earth's remaining fleet launched a massive attack on the opposite side, drawing attention away from them. "Once we're aboard," Ryan told his team, "we head straight for their communication center. Nathan will hack their systems while the observers record their message." Xanthi's silver skin rippled with determination. "We will show the Council the truth. The Dravak's actions cannot stand." The shuttle docked silently on the massive ship's hull. Using cutting tools, they carved an entry point and slipped inside. "For Earth," Ryan whispered as they moved through the alien corridors, weapons ready. What happened in the next few minutes would determine the fate of humanity, and possibly reshape the Galactic Council forever. The Dravak command ship was a maze of corridors bathed in purple light. Ryan led his team deeper into the vessel, following Nathan's directions based on the captured ship's layout they had studied. "Communication center should be 2 levels up," Nathan whispered, checking his handheld scanner. They encountered surprisingly few Dravak soldiers. Most were focused on the battle outside. When they did meet resistance, the humans fought with practiced efficiency while Xanthi and Mira provided unexpected assistance. The observers possessed abilities the humans hadn't seen before. They could temporarily blind enemies with a flash from his silver skin, while Mira could slip through small spaces in her liquid form to disable security systems. "For observers, you fight well," Ryan commented as they reached the central command deck. Xanthi's skin rippled in what Ryan now recognized as amusement. "We observe, we learn, we adapt, much like humans." The communication center was guarded by 6 Dravak soldiers. Ryan's team took them by surprise, securing the room with minimal noise. "I need 5 minutes," Nathan said, connecting his equipment to the alien systems. While Nathan worked, Thea and Mira prepared their message to the council. Ryan kept watch at the door, knowing their luck wouldn't last much longer. "I'm in," Nathan announced, broadcasting on all council frequencies now. Xanthi stepped forward, his dignified voice echoing across thousands of worlds. "This is Observer Xanthi to all council species. The Dravak have violated multiple council laws. They attacked a developing species without provocation. They targeted civilians and diplomatic observers. We transmit evidence now." The images that followed shocked the council. Footage of Dravak ships firing on Earth's cities, of injured children being treated in makeshift hospitals, of the observers themselves helping wounded humans. Mira added her testimony. "Humans defended themselves with honor despite inferior technology. The Dravak claims of barbarity are false. We request immediate council intervention." Alarms blared throughout the ship. "They found us," Ryan warned. "We need to go. Now." But exit routes were already being sealed. Dravak troops converged on their position from all directions. "There's another way," Nathan said suddenly. "The hangar bay is 1 level down. If we can reach a shuttle." They fought their way through the ship, a desperate running battle against increasing numbers of Dravak soldiers. 2 of Ryan's team fell. Nathan was injured, but kept moving. When they reached the hangar, a surprise awaited them. Captain Laura Phillips and a boarding party from the Defiant had secured the area. "Thought you might need extraction," she said with a grim smile. "Let's go home." As they escaped the command ship, the tide of battle was already turning. Council peacekeeping vessels were arriving, their massive ships dwarfing even the Dravak fleet. "Stand down immediately," came the council order on all frequencies. "By emergency vote of the full council, this action is unauthorized. All hostilities will cease." The Dravak, faced with council enforcement, had no choice but to retreat. 3 weeks later, the Galactic Council reconvened in full session. Grace Liu stood proudly as Earth's official ambassador, with Eric Tanner at her side. Before them, the council chamber was packed with representatives from hundreds of species. Zartal's voice echoed through the hall. "The Dravak leadership has been sanctioned for unauthorized aggression. Their invasion fleet is dismantled." He turned his 6 eyes toward Grace. "Earth is hereby recognized as a sovereign world with full rights under galactic law. Ambassador Liu, you may address the council." Grace stepped forward, her voice steady. "Earth thanks the council for its justice. As we join the galactic community, we propose reforms to prevent similar incidents. No developing world should face what Earth endured." Her words caused a stir. A new species, already proposing changes to ancient protocols. In the back of the chamber, Commander Jack Harlow, now captain of Earth's first diplomatic vessel, stood beside alien allies from the smaller council races. Together, they watched as the flag of Earth was raised among those of council worlds. Zartal approached them after the session. "You know," he said thoughtfully, "in 10,000 years on the council, I've never seen a species fight so fiercely, then immediately work for peace so earnestly." He fixed his ancient eyes on Harlow. "The Dravak made a profound mistake. They dared assault Earth. Now we shall all learn what it means to have humans as allies instead of enemies."